I represent Corporate Networks, and I am fortunately the CEO of the company. And we are basically a system integration company. What we do is that we integrate various different kinds of information technology equipments and technologies into an integrated system which can actually be used by any organization to run their applications on or to run their services on. So we are an infrastructure providing company. That's what we do, and we have customers all across the board in every segment, in every industry, whether it's banking, whether it's telco, whether it's academics, whether it's health. So we've got customers all across the board. This is what we do. The state of entrepreneurship in Pakistan, I would say, is in a really bad shape. It's really tough because, first of all, it's a tough decision to take the plunge for an entrepreneur. The first and the foremost step is to decide to venture on the entrepreneurship side and then to take the actual plunge. So it's really challenging because the environment and the culture and the industry as such is not supportive at all. So I think it's a big decision to be an entrepreneur, and once you become an entrepreneur, you decide to become an entrepreneur, then a long list is waiting for you, of hardships is waiting for you on your way to being a successful entrepreneur. So I think the infrastructure and the support mechanism in the industry needs to be changed gradually so that entrepreneurship is easier to handle, or entrepreneurship is easier to pursue for an individual. In their own domains, they are trying very hard to do whatever they can. But frankly speaking, if after so many years, if the end result hasn't been what we expected or what we wanted, it means there's something fundamentally flawed somewhere around the structure of these organizations or the way these organizations work, which has to be changed. I think the primary reason is that the policies that these organizations make are in isolation with the industry or the sectors which they are targeting, in isolation of those sectors. If a person wants to start an IT company or any company whatsoever, first of all, there needs to be counseling done to that person, whether that sector which he or she wants to target, whether there's a potential in it, whether there's a market for that, whether there are chances of success or not. First of all, there is no support mechanism or no counseling mechanism available. Secondly, once the business has been started based on whatever assumptions or based on whatever reasons, then there needs to be support on the training side, then there needs to be support on the financial side, then there needs to be support on the system implementation side within the organization, the marketing side, and then finally when the company has been established, then there comes a stage when the company needs to be taken to the next level where the company is going to take off. And that is the point where companies find themselves unable to reach that next level because there is nobody there to guide them. And that's where most of the companies falter. So I think there needs to be a mechanism which can help and support starting companies or startups at each and every level which I mentioned, which right now is unavailable, unfortunately. For example, I'm not talking about the venture capitals right now, because venture capitals or the VC firms only play a limited and a significant role where there is a need for actually financing for the company. But company might not be needing financial support only. Company might be needing administrative or management related support. Company might be needing training support for their employees, developing their soft skills, for example, at an affordable cost, or they need to refine their vision of where they want to take their company. They might need a marketing research support where they can actually understand what their exact market is or where exactly their market is heading. So those are the areas which right now are not being targeted or right now are not being covered. And as far as VCs are concerned, I think VCs are important, but that's not the only thing I'm talking about. That's not the only support which startups need. In fact, that need arises only after a certain period of time. Before that, there are a lot of other things which need to be covered. And the model that I'm referring to, or something that I have in mind, is, for example, there's a London business support in England which helps and supports startups or entrepreneur ventures in London, and they provide them all sorts of support. They evaluate their business plans, they evaluate their financial models, and then they provide ongoing training support to them. Then they give them exposure in the market that they're trying to capitalize or market they're trying to capture. So that's the kind of support I'm talking about. Actually, the problem with the ICT sector is that we've always been chasing shadows of India. I think we need to stop that, and we need to reevaluate what our own strengths are and try to build up on those strengths. I think the strength that we have is we do not have a strength, or we've missed the bus as far as software development is concerned. The strength that we have is in the services sector. We've got a lot of trained or semi-trained manpower available with us, which can be used locally as well as exported, not only in the region but globally as well. So I think we need to capitalize on that. We need to train a lot of people who can actually be used for providing services to the industry in Pakistan and outside Pakistan. Partly vocational training, but I would say vocational training is very a short-sighted approach to developing ICT, or short-sighted approach to developing any sector for that matter. I would take a step forward. I would say collaboration with the universities and academia as well. Let's try to introduce something in the academia, in the universities, where we can actually, or the training which we can be used by the graduates as soon as they get out of the universities, so that the time they use or the time they consume in getting adjusted into the industry is actually minimized. The exact sector that I represent in the ICT domain in Pakistan, for example, I represent, or I belong to the networking domain in ICT. I think networking domain is a domain where there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of room which Pakistan can actually take a lead and grab. I think if we can train a lot of people in networking and export them to the region in the Middle East and beyond, I think that can be one area where we can compete not only with our neighbors, but we can compete with anyone in the world, which in fact we are even competing right now. Our clients are across the spectrum. Actually, as I said earlier, a telco could be our client, a bank could be our client, any other financial institution could be our client, a university could be our client, a hospital could be our client. So any industry and every industry could be our client. And every industry would be needing the type of skills that we have, the type of skills that our professionals have. So if those skills can be imparted to professionals or students or individuals in the country, I think they can be used anywhere in the world and in any industry around the globe. First of all, the thing is that an industry can grow the fastest if it's got the resources of the government behind its back, because obviously government resources are the biggest for any sector. You cannot compete with the resources of the government. So the industry itself has been trying to develop and grow, but had there been a push from the government, obviously the growth would have been manifold. For example, take any technology. If I take a few names, take routing and switching, take security, take unified communication, take videos, take data centers, take any technology, and if the government can actually help the industry develop professionals in these technologies, as I said earlier, there's a huge potential for that. What the government can do is, government can actually subsidize the training. Anybody who gets training from, let's say, a particular university or a particular institution, government says, let me fund you for that. Because that funding or that support which the government provides is obviously going to support the economy of Pakistan. The landscape was very green and the picture was very rosy a few years back, but it is becoming more and more tough these days, and a lot of system integrators have seen the exit door out of business recently. So the market has shrunk practically. So it's not a good time to be a system integrator in Pakistan these days. But having said this, I would say that a better picture or improvement is around the corner. Because of the shrunk market, a lot of competition has been wiped out, and only serious players can be seen in the market right now. And being a serious player, I can say for myself that the number of opportunities that I'm getting right now from the Pakistan market have increased because of the shrunk competition.